Welcome back to the channel. We are back August 23rd, a special video on a Sunday. I wanted to get right into it. The UFC Fight Night Munhoz against Frankie Edgar was exactly yesterday. Didn't go too late because we only had 9 fights in a ridiculous, crazy card. If you had any parlay, you probably lost most likely like I did because it was people that were in, people that were out, and this was upset city. Ever from the start to the end, it did not matter. No one was safe. Going into the first fight, Trevor Jones going against Timor Valiev. Timor Valiev was a huge prospect, still is a huge prospect. Had a great career in PFL. Finally getting an opportunity to move up to the UFC. Trevor Jones was a late fill-in like 3 days ago. After watching tape on him, I noticed that he's gonna need to defend takedowns, but that wasn't the case. Timor Valiev absolutely dominated the first round and the first 2 minutes of the second round, but for some odd reason, Trevor Jones weathered that storm. The referee did not call a stop to that fight in that first round, and Trevor Jones was able to come with a huge right hook, knocked Timor Valiev to the ground, and took advantage with some ground and pound and finished off the huge star in Valiev, a humongous upset and to start off the card. So once that happened, I knew something else would happen. But going into the next fight, hopefully Timor Valiev gets another chance because he looked very good, very dynamic. It looked like he was just choosing whatever arsenal that he had with kicks, knees, elbows, everything that he was throwing at Trevor Jones in that first round. All right, second fight on the card was Matthew Selmersberger against Carlton Minus. This one came down to a decision. Very close contest, but Matthew in each and every round did more than Carlton Minus. He looked like the fresher fighter in that third round, and he just outperformed him in each and every way. So that was a very good performance from him, who has not that many fights. He was only 62 coming in, not that much of experience compared to Carlton Minus. But Matthew Semmelsberger definitely gets an opportunity to, put himself into another prelim card very soon. This next fight kind of pissed me off. Jordan Wright against Ike Villanueva. Ike Villanueva is definitely a type of dude that is known to take punishment. And Jordan Wright, the Beverly Hills Ninja, I don't know why he called himself that, came in undefeated. His fight in the Dana Contender series was a no contest because his opponent, even though his opponent destroyed him and knocked him out in 40 seconds, he tested positive for some drugs. So coming into this fight, Jordan Wright was throwing his kicks, nice, beautiful back spinning kicks, and then he happened to have Ike Villanueva on the cage in the clinch and was throwing knees and got a cut that was bleeding into his eye. And then once the doctor seen that, there was from then on out, it was no contest. They stopped the fight. I felt pretty bad because Villanueva definitely had a chance. Once he, break away from that clinch, I thought that I could have pulled that win, but Jordan Wright definitely looked pretty good. We'll see. He's gonna have a better test the next time he hops into that octagon. All right. This next fight, Amanda Lemos going against Mizuki Inoue. This one I told you, I leaned Mizuki, but I told you it was a warning that Amanda Lemos was going to make this ugly and a tough fight, and she absolutely did in each and every way. Took Mizuki down, dominated her in that first round, which was very surprising. Mizuki tried to stay in it with some clinch work, but it was not enough. Lemos pulled away with the decision at the end. So very impressive from Amanda Lemos, even though Mizuki is very skilled with top game and ground game. Next fight, this one was like put together at the very end. Daniel Rodriguez and Dwight Grant, both of these guys' opponents were either didn't make weight or it was another cut. But Daniel Rodriguez and Dwight Grant was a crazy back and forth, all in the first round. This wasn't one round, Dwight Grant, the second round, Daniel Rodriguez. It was like the first 2 minutes, Dwight Grant. And then the next 2 minutes, Daniel Rodriguez. And they went back and forth. But Dwight Grant was not expecting a huge left hand after leaving the clinch. You got to watch out once these guys break away from the clinch, an elbow, a punch, or something is coming. Dwight Grant did not see it at all. It put him to the ground, and he finished Dwight Grant off on the ground with a nice TKO punch. Very, very impressive, even though he was getting his ass kicked. Weathered the storm, bounced back. Huge win for Daniel Rodriguez. 13-1, very good record. I can't wait to see him in his next bout. Next fight, we have Shayna Dobson, Maria Agapova. This one was the biggest upset ever since Holly Holm, and you already know what I say once you say Holly Holm. This one, ridiculous. Shayna Dobson was like plus 800. If you threw $10, you were fine. If you happen to throw $100, if you happen to put her in a parlay, God bless you, man, because you definitely paid off that one. I did not see this coming. You did have an opportunity to bet this live after the first round. You could see that Maria gave it her all in the first round. I don't know. She fought like an amateur. Like, you don't do that. You gotta. I don't know where you're training, where you just gash yourself out in the first round, but you need to save. This is a 3-round fight. You got to save some energy for the second and the third. She thought she was going to finish Shayna Dobson in the first. This is a UFC veteran right now, and she took advantage, weathered the storm, took her to the ground, and defeated Agapova. Agapova had to go to the hospital for exhaustion. That's how bad it was. Maria is a great, great talent, but she needs to be smarter in the ring. All right, you gotta have control. You can't just go all out in the first round. And it proved for her to be wrong. I understand you did it against Hannah Cifers. You got away with that choke, but Shayna Dobson, training at elevation, she was definitely ready for that and got the win. Huge upset in that one. That was the two big upsets so far in the card. Timor Valiev was like minus 500. Maria Agapova was like minus 1,500. So once those two people lost, everyone was probably scrambling, trying to get some money back. But it didn't happen again in this next fight. Joe Solecki and Austin Hubbard. Austin Hubbard was a big favorite as an underdog, meaning everyone looked at this card and was like, you know what, Austin Hubbard should win this fight. But coming down to Joe Solecki's, it was a mistake on my part because Austin Hubbard fought Marco Madsen, and then he fought Max Roskopf, and those two guys wrestling is not compared to the black belt jiu-jitsu that Joe Solecki showed. He even showed great stand-up and started the first round with a very good stand-up game. His boxing was very crisp in that first minute. Then he switched to his takedown, and Austin Hubbard didn't have any answers for that. It was a standing guillotine. It was a standing rear naked choke that Joe Solecki put on Austin Hubbard right against the cage, and that was it. So that was very impressive. He's going to be rising up them ranks. I want to see him in the ring again. I want to see how that boxing improves because he's definitely very well-rounded after what I saw in that fight. Now, the co-main event, Mike Rodriguez and Marcin Prachmio. This one was the guarantee of the day. Even if you watch the weigh-ins, you saw the height difference. Even though Mike Rodriguez is 6'4" and Marcin Prachmio is 6'3", there was just another level. The thickness and the built body of Mike Rodriguez compared to Marcin Prachmio. The size difference was ridiculous. And then in the fight, it was very quick. Mike Rodriguez starched him with some nice punches. Prachmio tried to work the outside with his leg kicks because Mike Rodriguez is a southpaw, but that went away very quickly. Mike Rodriguez got to him and put him down in that first round with elbows and punches. I cannot wait to see Mike Rodriguez in his next fight. Dude is huge and definitely has talent. He worked his Muay Thai very well. And then last but not least, to end this whole underdog card off, we had Frankie Edgar going up against Pedro Munhoz. Frankie Edgar, the veteran, the former lightweight champion. Pedro Munhoz, the up-and-coming star right here, 33 years old, still in his prime. This one went very close, but it was a robbery. If you just look at these numbers, I had money on Frankie Edgar. Thank God he won. I'm glad he won. I'm not going to complain about that. But if you look at these numbers, Pedro Munhoz outstruck him with significant strikes. in that percentage. I understand Frankie Edgar had some takedowns, but in each and every round, right here, Pedro Munhoz outstruck him in round 1. He outstruck him in round 3, outstruck him in round 4, and outstruck him in round 5 each and every time. But these judges probably looked at these combinations, because every time Pedro would throw one punch, Frankie Edgar would come with a 2-3 combination, and then these takedowns as well are a huge key. Just change up level changes is very, very good to see in that. Frankie Edgar did not slow down his pace throughout the whole fight. He was a very good pace. Looks very crisp. It's just a letdown. Pedro Munhoz definitely had a very, very good fight. Should have won it, but you're going against a legend and you're leaving it up to the judges. Dana White probably was like, you know what, Frank Edgar is a legend. He's a name. We need him on another card, in a future card, and to make money. Like, come on. I'm sorry. It probably came down to politics, because if it came down to stats, Pedro Munhoz should have won. All right. So in that case, Pedro Munhoz, I'm sorry, you can take that loss, but because if Frankie Edgar got that loss, he's pretty much going to be retired. If Frankie Edgar gets another opportunity in that top 5 division in bantamweight, definitely has a chance to win the next fight. So, good props to him. Sorry, Pedro Munhoz, you lost, but we're going to move on from that. And that is the total breakdown of the UFC Fight Night. Munhoz against Edgar. Very, very exciting card. Tons of upsets. Hopefully that doesn't, happen in the next card, because that let a lot of people down. But I still profited for the night. Thank you, Edgar, for coming through. I will be back tomorrow. We're going to do more football content, because the NFL season is about to start. So I want to hop on that while it's hot. And we still got, 3 weeks, 3 or 3.5 weeks before kickoff starts. So this will be the perfect time to hop into some more NFL content. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Please also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MessNetJSD. And peace out.